Today we are going to model a proper fraction divided by a whole number. So we're going to look at 5/8 divided by 3 and 3/4 divided by 5. 5/8 divided by 3. In order to know exactly how to model, you have to really understand what division is. So division is repeated subtraction or making groups of something or dividing equally into a certain number of groups. So in this case, we're going to start with, just like our division expression starts with 5/8, we want to start with 5/8. So I'm going to take this rectangle and divide it evenly into 8 parts. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. Now that I have my 8 parts, I can say that the whole rectangle is now broken up into eighths because each part represents 1/8. So 1/8 plus another 1/8 is going to be 2/8, plus another 1/8 is 3/8, plus another 1/8 is 4/8, and so forth. So notice that we have eighths, and the last one is going to be 8/8. And remember, 8 divided by 8 equals 1. A fraction is another form of division. So now I can show or model what's going on here. So I need to start with 5/8. Now I have a whole rectangle. So in order to show 5/8, I have to shade 5 of the 8 parts. So this is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, and 5/8. So in order to take 5/8 and divide it evenly into 3 parts, I have to first start with 5/8. So the shading or the gray represents the 5/8 of the original whole rectangle. So I'm showing 5/8. Then I want to take that 5/8 and divide it evenly between 3. So that means I need 2 lines going the other way horizontally. So I have 1 line, 2 line. And notice that I broke my 5/8 evenly into 1, 2, 3 parts. That's what division is, to divide evenly into, or repeated subtract, making groups. Division is all of these things, all of the above. We have to know what a fraction is. So since we're taking a fraction and dividing it evenly by a whole number, we know that our answer should be a fraction of a number, because you can't take a whole group of 3 from 5/8 because 5/8 is less than 1. And our divider is 3 in this case, which is a whole number. And that whole number is larger than what we had to start with. So the answer that we get should be a fraction of a number. And what is a fraction? A part out of a whole. So what is the part that's going to be in each section? What is the whole? The total number of boxes. So here's the part that's going to be in each section. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So our numerator is going to be a 5, and our whole is going to be 6, 7. The total number of boxes, 8 plus another 8 is 16, plus another 8 is 24. So our numerator is 5, and our whole total number of boxes is 24. So we can conclude that 5/8 divided evenly into 3 groups is going to give us 5/24 in each group. Now let's look at the second model. We have 3/4 divided by 5, or 3/4 being divided evenly into 5 groups. So in order to show this expression, we need to first start off with the dividend, everything that we have the number to be divided, which is 3/4. In order to show 3/4, we have to divide our whole rectangle into 4 groups, which means we need 3 lines. So here are the 4 groups. We have 1/4, so each section represents 1/4. When we get to the end, we'll see that we have 4/4, and 4 divided by 4 equals 1. Now we need to start with 3/4, and we're going to we use shading to show 3/4. So we need to shade 3 of the 4 parts. So here is 1/4 shaded, 2/4 shaded, here is 3/4 shaded. So now that we have our dividend, remember, whenever you're dividing or subtracting, you always want to start off with everything that you have or the number that's going to be divided or subtracted from. So in this case, 3/4 is going to be divided evenly into 5 groups. So I need to start my model by showing 3/4. And then I'm going to take that 3/4 and divide it evenly between 5 groups, which means I need 4 lines going horizontally, 2, 3, 4, and that gives me the 5 sections that I needed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I took that shaded, that gray part, 3/4, and divided it evenly between the 5 sections. My answer is going to be less than my original 3/4, my original dividend, my original number to be divided, because I cannot take a whole group of 5 from 3/4 because 3/4 is way too small. So my answer is going to be a fraction of a number. So that means I need to take one part. And here is my one part that I need for my final answer. So this one part shows that I have 1, 2, 3. That's the part that each section is going to have out of the total number of boxes. So each row is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So I know that a fraction is a part out of a whole. My answer should be a fraction of a number. Once again, because you can't take a whole group of 5 from 3/4 because 5 is a whole number. And 3/4 is a fraction of a number. Remember, the divisor, the second term, is what you're making groups of. That's what you're trying to repeat subtract. So since we cannot repeat subtract a whole number 5 from 3/4, we should have a fraction of a number. Fraction is a part out of a whole. So the part that each person will get is going to be 3 out of 20. So we started with our 3/4, right? That was the shaded. Then we divided it evenly between 5 people. Each person is going to receive 3/20. And this is simplified because 3 is a prime number and the only factors is 1 and 3. And 1 and 3 is not a factor of 20, so this fraction cannot be simplified.